Picture this. Your cat has ignored you for hours. Then, out of nowhere, it walks over, curls up beside you, and everything, the noise in your head, the tension in your shoulders, just dissolves. If that image feels deeply familiar, stay with me. This one's for you. Let me start with a question. Your cat locks eyes with you, nudges your glass off the table, and walks away without a single ounce of regret. Do you feel frustrated or quietly impressed? If you smiled just now, you're exactly who I made this video for. Here's something most people never realize. Being a cat person isn't a personality quirk. It's a window into how your nervous system is built. Think about it this way. Some people are energized by stimulation, busy environments, social interaction, constant feedback. Dogs thrive in that world, and so do the people who love them. But other nervous systems work differently. They recharge through calm, through stillness, through spaces that make no demands. A cat doesn't bound toward you needing something. It simply occupies a room, and in doing so, gives you permission to just be. No performance required, no emotional labor, no one waiting for you to respond a certain way. When someone says dogs feel like too much, they're not being cold. They're describing sensory overload. When someone says cats feel peaceful, they're describing what it feels like when their nervous system finally exhales. And that's only the beginning. Human connection, as beautiful as it is, comes loaded with unspoken contracts. Respond quickly, show up emotionally, match my energy, explain yourself. Even love can carry pressure. Why aren't you more open? Why don't you need me the way I need you? For people who are sensitive, perceptive, or easily overwhelmed, that constant negotiation is genuinely draining. Cats opt out of all of it. They don't assume access to you. When they choose your lap, it's freely given. No strings, no expectation of conversation or eye contact or reciprocal vulnerability. And when they leave, there's no guilt trip, no rupture to repair. That's not emotional avoidance. Research actually shows cat lovers aren't afraid of closeness. They're wary of pressure. They want intimacy that breathes, that arrives naturally, without urgency. And if you've ever had your boundaries repeatedly crossed by people, the radical consent embedded in cat relationships isn't a small thing. It's everything. Now here's something your body already knows, even if your brain doesn't. A cat's purr is neurologically powerful. Those low, rhythmic vibrations don't just sound soothing, they trigger a physiological response before you've even consciously registered anything. Breathing slows, muscles soften, cortisol drops. Your nervous system hears that frequency and translates it as, nothing urgent is happening here. You're safe. You can rest. For people who spend their days managing emotional atmospheres, reading rooms, anticipating needs, staying one step ahead, this kind of effortless regulation is almost shockingly rare. Silence can feel empty. Noise can feel invasive. But a purr lives right in between, present but not demanding, grounding without being intrusive. That's why cat people often struggle to explain why their cat calms them down. It's not a thought, it's a body response. And bodies form attachments fast around things that bring them back to baseline. Now, about the intelligence research. Yes, studies show cat owners tend to score higher on certain cognitive measures. But cats don't make you smarter. What's actually happening is that certain traits cluster together. Introverted people tend to invest more time in solitary intellectual pursuits, reading, writing, sitting in philosophical uncertainty, while a cat aggressively types on your keyboard. Dr. Denise Costello's work at Carroll University found that cat people score higher in openness to experience and cognitive engagement. We also score higher in neuroticism. So essentially, curious, anxious, and oddly at peace with both. But here's the real connection between cats and thinkers. Deep thought requires unbroken mental space. Creativity, reflection, problem solving, they all collapse under constant interruption. A cat doesn't fragment your attention. It coexists alongside your focus rather than competing with it. This is why so many writers, artists, and philosophers across history kept cats close. Not because cats created great thinking, but because they protected the conditions great thinking needs. Modern life pathologizes quiet. Solitude is dressed up as loneliness. But for cat people, quiet is where ideas take shape, and where the self finally gets some room. Here's something fascinating about biology. When your cat looks up at you with those wide, round eyes, your brain doesn't register predator. It registers infant. Large eyes, rounded face, soft features. These trigger what researchers call the baby schema, a hardwired caretaking impulse that fires before thought even enters the picture. Domestic cats map onto this pattern almost perfectly. And for many cat people, caregiving in this direction feels natural, even easier than receiving care, because it flows outward without demanding anything in return. The cat doesn't monitor your mood. It doesn't need you to be okay. You can nurture without exposing yourself. For people who learned early to keep their inner world tightly managed, that dynamic isn't a limitation. It's a doorway to connection. But let's step back and look at the bigger picture. This was never really about cats. It was about understanding the kind of nervous system you carry and the kind of world it needs to function well. If cats have always made sense to you in a way that's hard to articulate, it's because your system is built for subtlety, for connection without coercion, for presence that doesn't require you to perform. Cats don't test your loyalty. They don't confuse neediness with love. They stay not because they can't leave, but because, in this moment, they choose you. And something in that quiet choice, that low stakes, no drama, completely optional affection, gives certain nervous systems exactly what they need to feel okay again. In a world that rewards being needed, cat people have quietly made a different choice. We love without owning. We connect without consuming. We've discovered that sometimes the most profound companionship asks almost nothing of you and gives back more than you expected. So the next time your cat stares at the wall at 3 a.m. or demands food 40 minutes before their usual time, remember, you didn't just adopt a cat. Your nervous system found its match. Your cat didn't only choose you. Your body chose your cat right back. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content like this. And if you want to support the channel, joining as a member means a lot.